Sue Griffey is going to be coming up my way, coming up, I guess, from Maryland area up to Massachusetts. So we plan to get together. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. And I think we're meeting somewhere by Nancy Aronson's shop. So Sue, looking forward to it. Hope the weather's supposed to be great. Thanks a lot, everyone, for being here today. Brenda is an amazing host. And that's all I have for now. So Sue, do you want to take it from there?
You got it, Kenneth. I'm all set on the live stream.
Okay,
I've got to go in the back. Sometimes I just need a little bit. It's almost like if you ever think about running a relay race and the batons changing the hand from one person to the next person. And I need somebody else to hold the baton for a minute while I do the other thing. I'm pretty good at multitasking, but I'm also going to be doing the thing where I'm like, is it working? And then you guys don't need to see that. You don't need to see any of that. So good morning and welcome. I am delighted to see all of you. And I just want to look and see who's with us here today. I'm going to look through the participant list and I want to say good morning and welcome to all of you. I see we have Kenneth Lang, Julia, Mindy Stern, Adam, Al, Alexis, Angela, Brett, Christopher, Dan B and Dan S. We've got the Dan Club in the house today. We've also got the David Club, David M, David S. Oh, actually, there's two Davids. You might be joining by phone and by computer. Nice to see you both. Don, we have a Fireflies. I know sometimes people use transcription services. This is sitting on YouTube, so I don't mind if you want to transcribe the call. You can grab the transcript, I think, from YouTube too, if I'm not mistaken. And we also have a transcript running inside of Zoom here. And I believe the transcript inside the Zoom is downloadable. Is it not? Can anyone nod their head? Okay, yes, I'm seeing people nodding their head. So at the end of the session, you can download the transcript if you wish. That's perfectly fine. I see we have Gary, Guzman, Isabel, Jamie, Janelle, Janine, Jay. I'm going to make you a co-host. I'm just doing this too so I can see who my all-stars are going to be helping me today. Jean, Jeff, Joey is going to be one of my helpers here today. My all-stars. I just lost track. Janine, Jean, Jeff, Juan, Camille, Katie, Lena, Lillian, Marie, Nicole, Rachel, Rita, Rosemary, Scott, Sue. I think I've already made you a co-host. Maybe not. Oops. It just shifted. I think I did already though, didn't I? Yes. Oh, now I did. Okay, there we go. And then we've got Scott, Thomas. Thank you for the referral this week, Thomas. Appreciate it. VF and Wendy. And by the way, hey, my name is Brenda Meller. I help people get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. I do these events every week for free, donating my time, bringing others into the community. But if, like Thomas, you can send a referral to me, I would appreciate it. I work with individuals on a one-on-one basis for coaching. I do team training. I do presentations. So if you hear of somebody looking for a conference presenter, do refer my name out to them. And I'm getting more into online course development as well. That's all I'll say about myself. And I want to now go into and introduce the all-stars, the folks that are going to be helping me with questions today as we're going throughout the call. You've already heard from Kenneth, so we're going to hear from, I'm going to have Kenneth, I'm going to have you do your introduction, followed by Sue, followed by Mindy, followed by Joey, and then who else did I have on there? I feel like I'm forgetting a few. Jay, thank you for waving your hand. Did I get everyone? Okay, so that is your order. Let's see if you remember it. Go ahead and introduce yourselves now.
Hi, everyone. Kenneth Lang here, checking in from wonderful Wayne, New Jersey. We've had a wonderful week here with 70 degrees for a couple of days, so I'm really enjoying the weather. You have to excuse me. I'm having a little bit of a hoarse throat today, even worse than ever. I always love connecting with people. I actually put a link in the chat to the event that is coming up on Tuesday. And as I alluded to before, Sue Griffey and I are going to be meeting this week. And I'm so looking forward to that. I'm going to be doing some more traveling as well, but connect with me. My only ask is this: make sure that you connect and be very specific on what you want, because I think that is so important when you connect with people, not just to connect. How can we help you, but in the best way possible? So Sue Griffey, take it away, and look forward to seeing you later on this week.
Thanks, Ken. Yeah, you've been great. You've been announcing it everywhere. I was not saying a lot about it. I'm excited about meeting IRL. I know, Brenda, you've been posting a lot about in-person meetings. So yeah, dashing off the highway. I am the mentor with pom-poms. You'll see me celebrate small wins. Our wins every day are big wins for all of us. I run a global mentoring practice, and I mostly focus on places outside the USA. People find me because I've had a long career in global development. But through you all, I've learned that the techniques I use with them also work for you, thanks to Rosemary and others who have contacted me directly. And I love being part of Brenda's All Stars. It's a highlight of my week. I try not to miss this meeting. So on to Joey next, I think. Nope, Mindy.
you left
Sorry,
Mindy.
Mindy.
Mindy goes next.
I learned from Ken, write a list. Just make
I
sure
think
you
Mindy
can
goes
read it.
next.
I am. Yeah, thanks, Sue. Appreciate it. So happy to be here with you guys. What I love to do is help people accelerate their careers. Wherever you are, I will meet you in your space and I will help you to do better with what you have, whether that is building your resume or creating a great way to talk about yourself in your interview. And I have a small group of interview bootcamp people who are on this call, and we're doing a fabulous job of helping each other just to refine what we say and how we say it. I also host a wonderful group of job seekers. We call them the accelerators. And every month I host someone who is going to give us more information and help us learn and grow. This month, next month, March 1st, I'm welcoming Emily Hay, who I actually met on one of Brenda's LinkedIn Lives, and she's going to be talking about freelancing. So if you've ever thought about freelancing as a way to either supplement your income or as another way to have income, then definitely join us on March 1st. It's a free Zoom call. The link is in your chat. All you have to do is register there, and we'll see you on March 1st. I always host them at 11 a.m. Eastern, and hope to see you there. I'm going to pass the baton on to Joey. Welcome, Joey, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Mindy. Good morning, all. So I'm here supporting Brenda and her All Stars as well. I'm a retired salesperson. I've been teaching and coaching and mentoring unemployed professionals for the last 25 years. And I will be on this call as a wallflower, and it's really hard for me to do that. But I will be listening in and listening to how you're speaking. And if I hear you going down a rat's hole or being negative or beating yourself up, I will chime in and smack you in the face and then go back to being a wallflower. So thanks for being here. Jay, you're up.
Wonderful to be here with this great group of people, and it's something I look forward to every Friday, and I tell people to come to. And thanks, Brenda, for hosting this. It's really great to be here. I'm a career coach. I really love helping people figure out what they want to do and how to get there. And one of my real joys is finding different networking groups and figuring out which would be right in both job search groups and also groups in different specific fields. I just find it very interesting, and I like attending them and learning about them. So if anyone has any in any of their fields, send it to me and I distribute it. I love doing that. And I like connecting people to people. I find it interesting. So if I can connect people, let me know. Thank you.
All right. You all did great. I didn't even have to remember order at all. I'm going to start doing this. I'm just going to assign the order and go, you have to remember. So I don't have to remember. I want to just welcome all of you. And I'm curious if anybody is new. If this is your very first time coming into the Friday VIP group, go ahead and put into chat the word new right now, N-E-W. New can also be K-N-E-W. Did you know that? Yes, it can. New, though, if you are new here, I want you to put N-E-W into the chat. And I may call on just one or two of you, if that's okay, and ask you to briefly introduce yourself. I'll give you the option to pass. But if I see your name in here, I'm going to call on a few people. I see, okay, Brett, I want to call on you because you say new, laid off on Monday. Brett, if you wouldn't mind, please unmute yourself. We are happy to see you here. I know you may not be happy to be here, but we are happy to welcome you inside the community. Brett, tell us, if you could, how did you hear about the group? What are you looking for in terms of targeted job title and your targeted geographic area, if you could, sir? Oh, I can see your lips moving, but I cannot hear you talking. Let's try take two. I don't have my my little sign with the lips are moving. I can't think of the name of the singer. I threw it out. I got to get a new one. But let's
Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. All right, go ahead, Brett.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Brett Davis. I'm a senior information security manager located in the Ann Arbor, Detroit area. I was laid off on Monday. So I found out about this group from a friend on LinkedIn. They had suggested that I check it out. So here I am.
There you go. Well, we hope to live up to the expectations that your friend had for the group, Brett. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to do one more introduction and then we will move on. Let's do Athena. I see Athena had a little smiley face next to her new. So Athena, could you unmute yourself? And again, if you could tell us how you heard about the group, what is your targeted job title, and what is your targeted geographic area? Let's give her a second here.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Athena. I am a recent college graduate. I graduated within a year. I've just been struggling to make it into my career field of publishing, specifically book editing. I don't really have a geographic. I'm open to relocating anywhere. I'm very world-minded that way.
All right. Well, thank you so much for introducing yourself, Athena. And, you know, it's interesting that you say you're a book publisher and you're having some hard time breaking into the space, or I feel like there's so much opportunity. I don't know if anybody else thought of this too, but when I hear of a college student who's getting into book editing, I think she's probably not too expensive and she's probably really hungry for work and hungry to do a really good job. And her rates probably aren't that high either, right? So I'm even thinking there may be aspiring authors who are here on the call who might be looking for book editors who could reach out to you. And that it might be something you could put into your LinkedIn About section, Athena, like letting people know you're looking to go into book editing. If you have an editing project you'd like help with, you know, reach out to me and you might be able to get some work that way. I hope you don't mind that I give you that suggestion, Athena. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Thank
All right,
you.
wonderful. Well, thank you. And I see there's lots of other new folks here today too. I don't want you to think I didn't see your names. I saw Karen in here. I saw Dan. I saw Katie. I saw Nicole, Al, David, Christopher, Rocio. I'm not sorry if I'm saying that correctly, Gary, and there's a few others as well. I want to welcome all of you. And I want to just kind of talk about what is this? This is, I call this Friday VIP Job Seeker Office Hours. And I want to break that down for you. Friday, it's every Friday, just so you know, 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern. I've had a couple people on the Pacific time zone that say, oh, it's too early for me. Sorry, this is the time of day that works best for me. I've tried it different times. This is the time of day that works best for me and from a lot of the folks. So the good thing is this is recorded and broadcast out on YouTube. So if for any reason 7 a.m. is way too early for you to get up, or you're barely getting your coffee and you at that point, you can always watch the playback later. But if you want to join us, you got to come on live Friday at 10 a.m. Let's see, Friday, VIP Job Seeker Office Hours, VIP. I want you to remember that you are a very important person. And you're probably here, my friend, because you are in career transition right now. And there's a lot of words to describe what that means. You're unemployed, you're in between successes, you are underemployed. Maybe you've taken a job just to have something, but it's not what you want to do. You've been laid off, let go. You can use all those fired fancy words, you know, corporate restructured out, you know, I don't know. There's a billion different things, but you are in between successes is how I see it. It's kind of like an Oreo cookie. You know, if you think about the two cookies and then there's the frosting in the center, you're the frosting right now because the one Oreo cookie is the job that you came from. And the other side is the next job you're going to be. And you're just in the middle of the Oreo right now. So while you're here, just kind of dunk and enjoy it, right? And have some fun networking and meeting all of us. And part of the reason I created this session is to bring all of you together to create a community. Because I know that when you are in career transition, and I've been there myself, you know, it can be the lowest of lows on some days, and you can feel like you're isolated and nobody cares about you. And you start to wonder, you know, you do the what if game. What if I had done this? And did I not play the corporate thing right? And maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And all this self-doubt and stuff starts to creep in. And you might have other days where you're like, oh, this is nice. I can go out and walk the dog and I don't have to be in those boring meetings and play the office politics. And then you have an interview and things go great and you're up at the top of the roller coaster. And then the next day they call and they say they hired someone else. And it's like a roller coaster of emotions. I created this Friday group because, first of all, I don't want anyone to feel like they are alone in this. I want you to know there are many other people. And if you look around the room right now, we've got 54 other people that are on the call. There's a great community of people that are out there that are just like you. Their circumstances might be different. Their backgrounds and industries might be different, but we're all the same. I mean, we're here because we are united to help the job seeking community. That's part of the reason I encourage you to drop your introductions into chat. And if you haven't already done so, go and drop your introduction into chat right now. What I want you to put in there is just, you don't need to say your name because Zoom already says Brenda Meller to everyone. But what I do want you to put in there is tell us your targeted job title, tell us your targeted geographic area, and then put in your LinkedIn URL. That's it. I don't want you to put 3 paragraphs telling us your life story and where you were let go from and how long you've been out of work and, you know, everything. I don't need to know everything. I want you to get succinct on this, and I want you to get practice doing this. And this is a technique that you should do every time you are in a virtual call. Now, I usually say wait until about 5 minutes after the meeting has started, because then the people who came on 2 minutes late, 3 minutes late, 4 minutes late, they're going to see your introduction. So the way that chats work inside these meetings is you only see chat at the point that you join the meeting on forward. So if someone joins at 10:02 and you did your introduction at 9:59, they're not going to see it. So go ahead and drop your introduction into chat. I want it to be succinct because the more that you put in there, the less likely they're going to be to read everything. Okay. So I like to see targeted job title, targeted geographic area, and LinkedIn URL. Okay. So I want you to think about that. And one technique I do, I use a service called Text Expander, which allows me to do a couple keystroke and then it populates it on my text. So I don't have to type it in each time. You can certainly do something similar. You can like type it out once and then save it on like a Word document or a notepad on your laptop, and then just copy and paste that when we get ready to do our introductions. Okay. And not just for this meeting, but for every meeting, because you never know when you're going to bump into someone who has a perfect job opportunity that they can send your way. So get comfortable with this, because if they don't know that you're looking, they can't send those opportunities to you. And that applies within this call too. And, you know, you all should be looking through the chat right now. I want you to be reading through the chat and seeing when you see people like Marie Cole saying she's an accountant looking for something in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania area or remote, and click on her LinkedIn URL. And if you visit her profile and you see that you're not yet connected, invite her to connect. And in your invitation, click on the add a note and tell her, hey, we were both on Brenda's VIP call today. Like, so that way, you know, you have something in common there. I also want to encourage you to go to our private unlisted LinkedIn group. I'm going to ask Julia, my intern, to drop that link into chat right now. And the way that the group works is it's a group that's on LinkedIn, and I intentionally put it on LinkedIn because a lot of the things we talk about here are related to LinkedIn. I don't want to put you in a Facebook group or Slack or something else. I want to drive you to LinkedIn. Thank you, Julia. And part of the reason I did that is because I'm going to pull the group up on screen right now and demonstrate this to all of you. So it is a private unlisted group. Private means you cannot get into the group unless I admit you. And it also means that the activity in the group can only be seen by people who are group members. Okay. So we can have some candid conversations in here. We can share resources with one another, etc. If it's your first time coming to the group, you're going to have to click on the request to join button. And I, as the group admin, will look through just to make sure that you look like a job seeker. I want to make sure I'm keeping the right people coming in and I keep the wrong people out. And you know what I mean? There's people who prey on job seekers, and I do not want them inside the group. And I monitor a group activity to make sure that they are not preying on you and trying to sell you and pitch you and things like that. Now, that being said, there are the all-stars who I've invited into our community. People like Kenneth Lang, Sue Griffey, Mindy Stern, Joey Himmelfarb, and Jay Cullen. These are people that are my trusted team of all-stars and fellow experts. And they are more than welcome to come inside the group. They help me answer questions, and they also will share their resources inside the LinkedIn group. So I want to encourage you to go to that LinkedIn group. I would go there at least like once a week just to see what people are posting, because you're going to notice inside the group, people will post when they, you know, one thing, we will always post the Zoom inside here. So if you have a hard time getting in, you can click on the link and join it quickly. You'll also see things like posts from Megan who talk about, hey, today is National Random Acts of Kindness Day, so we're going to do an endorsement party. And by the way, this is a really great thing that we can do during the call here today. If you visit people's profiles, I'm going to click on Adam as an example, because you were the last person who did your introduction in here, Adam. So if you're already connected with the person, and I can see I'm already connected with Adam, it says first level next to his name. I want you to go down to their skills section and give them endorsements for their top 3 skills. Super easy. I go click, click, click. That's it. Whoops. I didn't mean to do that part. Hold on. I clicked something wrong. Click. So it took me all but 5 seconds to do that. And that was including my little hiccup mistake in the middle of it. When we have more endorsements for our skills, that helps us to come up in more searches for our skills. So part of the reason I like to do these inside the job seeker calls is that when we do these endorsement parties where we go on people's profiles and give them endorsements, it does 2 things. One is it helps all of you as job seekers to come up in more searches for those keywords of your skills. The second thing is, I don't know about you, but it makes me feel kind of good when I get a notification from LinkedIn saying Jay Colin endorsed me for LinkedIn training, public speaking. And I'm like, oh, that was nice of Jay to do that, right? It makes you feel good. It makes you smile. So I want to encourage you to go on people's profiles, give them endorsements. So you'll see like things like that inside the group. The first thing I like to do when I go inside the group is read through posts, maybe give it a like, and, you know, maybe add a comment or 2. What a great idea. I always try to do 5 or more words. Fine. Thank you, Megan. And I'm now starting to hear 8 or more words in comments. So little pro tip for you, but I like to kind of contribute to their conversations first and then do my own post. So if you have something you'd like to share inside the group, could be a job posting, could be events. They could be LinkedIn events. They can be job seeker events. They can be resume workshops, whatever, anything that's related to job seeker resources you can share inside the group. Feel free to do so. But I always like to encourage you to first engage with some of the posts before you go and post your own in there. All right. So VIP, we said Friday VIP, job seeker office hours. And office hours, what that means is today you will have the opportunity to ask questions. So if you have a question related to using LinkedIn for your job search, I want to encourage you to go and drop that question into chat right now. If you have a question, what I want you to do, and I'm going to do an example of this right now. I'm going to say, type in the word question in all caps, followed by your question. And I'm just going to do an example of a question right now. Are you drinking coffee this morning? I'm just going to type in that as an example of a question. And the reason I want to show you this is I want to demonstrate typing in a full question because of the fact that if we can't get to all of your questions during the call, there may be others on the session here today that can respond to you through a private chat or follow up with you afterwards. Okay. I don't want anyone leaving feeling like, oh, I didn't get the chance to get my question answered. So go ahead and drop your question in there, put it in all caps, just like Janine did. And we will do some questions and answers today. I'll ask my all-stars to help me out with that. And then I also want to see if you have a success story. I want you to put the word success in all caps, just like I did in chat right now. If we see the word success, we're going to call on you as well. And I'm going to ask you to share what is your success story. Now, your success story could be, I got a job. I'm not going to see you anymore on these calls, which might be really lovely to see. A success story might be, I got an interview. My interview is next week. I'm excited about that. Or it could be that you are, you have recruiters that are finally starting to reach out to you. There might be a variety of different things that you deem to be a success on the path of finding a job. So if you have a success story you'd like to share, drop that into chat. Okay. Now, while we're waiting for your questions and your success stories to come in, I'm going to give you a couple of other reminders about kind of meeting etiquette here. First is, please keep yourself on mute for the duration of the call unless we call on you. That way, if you're yelling at the dog to stop barking at the squirrel or the phone rings or something, we don't get the background noise. Okay, so please keep yourself on mute. The other thing, and we're going to actually test this out right now, is I want you to use the raise hand function. Let me stop the share so I can see that you're all knowing how to do this. So if you go in your Zoom menu bar at the bottom, there's a little reactions button. If you click on that, you're going to see a thing that says raise hand. So I want you to try this out with me right now. Go into your Zoom bar at the bottom, like hover over your mouse, and I want you to click on raise hand. When you do that, you're going to see this little high five hand, and the raise hand will come up until you click on lower hand. Okay, so that will help me if you have a question, if you have a comment, whether you're one of the all-stars or one of the participants on the call, that will help me to quickly identify you. So again, to raise your hand, you want to go in the bottom of your Zoom menu bar, hover your mouse over if you're not seeing that bottom menu bar, and then you'll see a bunch of icons. You should see one called reactions. And if you click on that, you'll see it should say raise hand. Okay, if you've tried it out, you know where it's at, then go ahead and click on lower hand if you could. All right. So that's how you use that function. So that we will use, that's almost like our virtual baton, right? It'll help me to identify people in the audience to ask questions of. I see Abby is on with us too. I'm going to make her a co-host because she's going to help us with some questions today as well. All right. I think I got through my reminders. Now we're going to do a little bit of a group participation part of the meeting. Did you know that you're going to get some participation? You are. You're going to get some participation today. All right. So here's what we're going to do. This is the job seeker mantra. I am a big believer in the power of positive mindset. And I also want to involve and engage you in on this meeting. I don't want you to just sit back and be an inactive participant. I want you to be a very active participant in your job search strategy and your job seeker mindset and participating with the mantra. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. I'm going to have you unmute yourself in just a moment. You can start unmuting right now if you want. Go ahead, unmute yourself. And you're going to raise a hand. It can be your right hand or your left hand. If you used your left hand last week, use your right hand this week. I don't know why. It's not legally binding, so it doesn't really matter, but I like raising your hand. Okay. And I'm going to say a line, and then I'm going to point at the screen and you're going to say it back with me. Okay. So again, you're going to raise a hand. This is getting our brain engaged. This is something we're taking as almost like an oath. It's a mantra. I'm going to say the line and you're going to repeat it back to me with enthusiasm, or I'll make you do it over again. You know it. Okay. So here we go. I want you to repeat the line after I say it. This is temporary.
This is temporary.
Oh, come on. Okay. Now with enthusiasm, I want you to really think about where you are in your life right now. You are in career transition. This is not going to be forever. I want you to know this is temporary, and your brain needs to hear that from you too. Let's try this again. This is temporary.
This is temporary.
All right. That's a little better. We got it. Okay. I am awesome.
I am awesome.
All right, one more time. I want you to feel it in your heart when you say it. You can say it a little louder if you want. I am awesome.
I am awesome.
All right, I felt it. I felt it in there with you. And I want you to point to somebody else on the screen right now and say, and you are awesome.
And
you are awesome.
Yes, you are. I am valuable.
I am valuable.
Valuable. I will find another job.
I will find another job.
Great job. I love the emphasis there. The black hole isn't the only way.
The black hole isn't the only way.
Yes. I am in control of my future.
I am in control of my future.
And using LinkedIn can help to give me power.
And using LinkedIn to give me power.
Give me power.
Thus, by attending today, I am a step ahead.
Plus, by attending today, I am a step
ahead.
All right, give yourself a round of applause
Plus,
on
I'm
there.
attending today,
Thank you
and
for
I am a
participating.
step
Go ahead and put yourself back on mute if you don't mind. I want to just kind of talk about what we just did right now. When you are in career transition, and again, I've been there myself. I have been at the lowest of the lows, and I've been there, and you're one day you're working and the next day you're not, and your brain is like, what in the actual heck just happened to you? Your brain, you start to say things to yourself. And you start to say things like, I'm never going to find a job. I'm always, I'm never going to get back to work. So part of this is like, you need to retrain yourself and you need to be your own coach in your job search to yourself, to your brain. So by saying things like, this is temporary, you're reminding yourself, this is just a blip where you are right now. Someday you're going to look back and go, what in the actual heck happened? I was out of work for a while and that kind of stunk, right? But this is temporary. This is just a blip in your history. You will be back to work someday. I want you to know that, and I want you to believe it. You are awesome. And I want you to remember that you are awesome and you are valuable. When you are in career transition, a lot of us, we feel like our self-worth is tied into our jobs. Our identity is tied into our paycheck or the role that we hold. And when we no longer hold that role, we kind of feel like, who are we, right? And I remember I was part of the executive team. And then one day I was told you're not anymore. And I'm like, okay, well, who am I now? Right. And you start to have the self-doubt, the confidence issues, the things where you're like, maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Right. And I want you to remember that they can take away your job and your paycheck from you, but they cannot take away the passion that you have for all of the things that you do. They cannot take away all the knowledge, all the institutional insights, all the industry knowledge that you have. They cannot take that from you, my friend. I want you to remember that you are awesome and you are valuable, and all of the things that you hold in your head and in your heart, you're going to take with you to your next job. And somebody is going to be so lucky to have you. I want you to remember that. Okay. You will find another job. And I want you to know that if you ever catch yourself saying, oh, I'm never going to find another job, I want you to think about me in your head like that. And I want you to say out loud, I will find another job. I will find another job. You need to stop the negative self-talk and get into the positive affirmations. Okay. I want you to remember that. The black hole is not the only way. I hate the black hole of job search. If you hate the black hole of job search, go ahead and tell me in chat how much you hate the black hole of job search. Feel free to use all caps. Go ahead and put your caps lock on for your passion and your dislike of the black hole of job search. You know what I mean? You apply to job upon job upon job, and then they ask you to fill out an application and then upload a resume and upload a cover letter and then stand on your head and do 2 twists and then you don't even get so much as a reply back, right? You're like, I spent an hour with you, my life falling into love with this job. And then you don't even so much as give me anything back. That is soul sucking and energy crushing, isn't it? I hate the black hole of job search. The black hole is not the only way. I want you to know that there's a better way of doing things, and that involves both networking and using LinkedIn for your job search. So today you're doing the networking. Hopefully you're connecting with people on LinkedIn as well. And hopefully this gives you some inspiration. You are in control of your future, my friend. You cannot control what happened to you in the past. You can't. I think the Superman movie was the only time I saw somebody was able to like reverse time and then change things and go forward. But that was a movie. That was fiction. You cannot go back in time and change what has happened to you. You can choose what you do today, what you do tomorrow. You can choose your mindset. You can choose to go on to a different path. You can choose to be positive about your situation. You can choose to learn from it and grow from it. But you can't go back in time. But you are in control of your future. And I want you to remember that. Using LinkedIn can help to give you some power in your job search. You don't have to rely upon the black hole. You don't have to let yourself wallow in what happened to you. Pick yourself up and move on and use LinkedIn, because that's going to help to give you some power in your job search, not just in your job search, but throughout the rest of your career. I want you to remember that. And by attending today, you are a step ahead, my friend, because look at all the wonderful people that you have surrounded yourself with. We've got 57 people on the call right now. You can build your network. You can learn from each other. And I guess that's it. End of my mantra rant, if you will. All right. Somebody said, if you use all caps, it's inappropriate. Not when I give you permission. In chat, we can hate the black hole with our all. Somebody said, freaking black hole sucks. Hey, I high five that person because I completely agree with you on that. All right, we're going to move into some questions and some success stories. I'm going to scroll up until I find the first one. And then I'm going to ask Julia, my intern, to help me to find some additional ones. So Julia, if you wouldn't mind keeping track of names, I would appreciate that. All right. Janine Dietz. Dietz or Dietz? Janine, can you unmute yourself and tell me how to...
Janine
what is
Dietz.
it? Janine Dietz.
Janine
Okay. Janine Dietz had a question. What is creator mode on LinkedIn and how do you use it? Janine, do you mind if I share your profile up on screen?
I don't mind.
You actually don't have a choice, Janine, because I'm in control of the screen, but I always like to do that because nice to be asked. So do you have creator mode enabled on your profile or not?
I don't think I do, because I'm a type of person who tends not to click onto things I don't know about.
Okay, good. So Janine's asking a really good question. What is creator mode and how do you use it? And I'm going to approach this from the perspective of you as a job seeker and other individuals as a job seeker as well. So creator mode is a newer feature that LinkedIn launched probably about a year or two ago. And they just kind of like put it up on our profile and they, looks like it's something that you should enable because you get access to different features and functions and things like that. LinkedIn created creator mode for people that are really heavy content creators and heavy users of the platform. So some things you want to think about when you're thinking about turning on creator mode. You certainly do get access to some additional features, LinkedIn Live, audio events, newsletters. You also get to put at the top of your profile, let me show you mine as an example, hashtags. And that might be something that you're like, oh, that's how people got those at the top of their profile. They enabled creator mode. So you can see once this loads, I'm going too fast for LinkedIn. There we go. It says talks about, and I can put like categories of keywords that I talk about on LinkedIn. So that's one of the benefits of enabling it. And some of the others, like I mentioned, getting access to the LinkedIn Live and creator tools. There's a few other things that change on your profile, Janine. They reorder where things appear, like you're about and you're featured, I think are moved around. The one thing that you need to be aware of though, is when you turn on creator mode, your default button changes from connect to follow. So right now I'm already connected to you, Janine. So it says a message instead, but if I were not connected with you and I visited your profile, it would say connect on here. If you enable creator mode, it changes it to follow. Part of my concern with turning on creator mode, if you're a job seeker, is, part of what you should be doing is growing your network. And the average person won't know, some people don't even know what's the difference between follow and connect. And I want to explain that. Follow means when I follow you, I will start to see your updates in my homepage feed, but I don't have the ability to see all of your contact info, and I don't have the ability to message you one-on-one unlimited. I might have some in-mail credits and stuff like that, but I really don't have permission yet to message you. I can use those features. Versus when you connect with someone and they accept it, now you can see all of their contact info. So I'm going to click on Janine's as an example. I can see her email address. If she had websites or anything, I could see that. And because I invited her to connect and she gave me, she accepted it. Now I have permission, so I can message her. I can click on message and she and I can message each other back and forth. Now, if you have creator mode turned on and it says follow, there is a way to connect with people. And by the way, mine is one of these profiles. So if you visit me on LinkedIn, it'll say follow. If you want to connect, you've got to click on the more button. And then underneath that, your view will show personalized invite or connect as one of the options. So my big concern, Janine, with turning it on is it creates a hurdle for people to connect with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've often wondered why some people, when I'm trying to connect with them after they've attended one of these sessions, there's no button to connect, but I do go to more and make the connection that way. Yeah. But I wondered why that was different. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome. And there is another way you can turn on the follow button outside of creator mode. But the average person, I would say, should not be using creator mode. And I'm here to help people get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie. And I want to help people get more out of the platform, but I don't want you to create hurdles for yourself or for your network to connect with you. There is a way you can look at your followers and then you can determine to screen them in whether or not you want to connect with them, but there's a lot of work to do. And I usually tell people, do not enable creator mode until you have 5,000 connections or followers. So for you, you're at 205 connections. If you're a job seeker, I would say do not turn it on. If you do have it on, just be aware that you should look at your followers because you could be missing out on connection opportunities. I'm going to see if any of the other all-stars want to add anything to that. If you do, please raise your hand and I'll call on you. And if I don't see any hands raised, we're going to move on to our next question or success story. And I don't see any hands raised, so I'm going to move on to Gary. So Gary, you had a question. What is your opinion on joining a different group in your field on LinkedIn? Gary, are you able to unmute yourself to clarify what you're looking for here? Gary?
Yes.
There you go. Hey, so tell me a little bit about what you mean here about joining a different group. Are you talking about a physical group, a networking group? Tell us a little bit more.
Networking group. Like, for instance, my background is like business process analyst. And I was thinking of joining groups like project managers.
Okay.
Different groups, or even business process analysts.
Yeah. So is the goal here to move into a different field, Gary, or what is the goal?
To connect with more people.
Connect with more people. Yeah, I don't see any issue with it. I see Joey has his hand raised. So Joey, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, there are countless stories of people who've joined groups that have nothing to do with their job or their profession. They're interested in stamp collecting. They're interested in kayaking. They're interested in, I don't know, anything that other than your job. And they meet people in these groups and they have conversations. So there's no pressure and there's no pressure to say, I'm looking for work. I need a job. It just happens naturally and people just connect with each other. And then lo and behold, somewhere down the road, the topic turns to careers. What are you doing? If you're looking for work, oh, we're looking for this person. And so what happens is you end up meeting people who you never would have met, who end up connecting you with people that you never would have known, getting you in front of people who you never would have knew existed for jobs that are out there, the hidden job market, the anti-black hole, if you will, and boom, you get hired. It happens all of the time.
I was just wondering how many different groups are you doing? With my background?
You can join, technically you can join up to 100 groups on LinkedIn, but I don't think that's really manageable for anyone. I would say be be active in groups that you join. So,
Right.
you know, if that's 5 groups or 10 groups or 25 groups, you can decide that. And you'll probably figure out pretty quickly, Gary, how many of those groups are going to be helpful for you. I see
I
Jay has his hand raised. So Jay, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, in addition to the LinkedIn groups, I would think as over the last year, there's more in-person groups. I would get the groups in person where you meet people and connect with them the way Joey was talking about, even more dynamically than even perhaps in a LinkedIn group. And I know someone who's a marketer who joined the jewelry makers group, and she was the only marketer they knew. So she started giving presentations to them about marketing, and she started getting work from that. So there's something counterintuitive and useful about joining groups that are not in your field. It's not as self-conscious as Joey was saying, just to support that.
So you're saying it's a good idea to join different groups and not in your field?
Yeah, join a few outside of, I mean, not innumerable, just a few, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very
asking
much.
that question, Gary. I'm going to keep us moving along here. And we may go a little bit after 11. I'll let you guys know right now. It's about 10:42 and I see a bunch of questions and things that are coming in. So we're going to keep us going here. We have 2 success stories. We're going to go with Lisa Vitale first and then Karen next. Lisa, what is happening?
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Good. How are you today, Lisa?
Good. I sent out 2 resumes this week, which is really good for me. And I also had an interview, a phone interview this week, not related to the resumes that I sent out. I thought the phone interview was going to be with HR because usually that's the first step. And it was with the director. So that was kind of cool. And I was prepared because Jude had always said, check on the company, which is, I did a lot of research on the company and the people in the company. So that was kind of a good feeling. We started out and she said, I love your resume. I love your cover letter. And she couldn't say enough about it. So we'll see. I'm waiting to find out what's next.
Awesome. So it sounds like a lot of things happening there for you, Lisa.
Yes.
I feel like you're
Yes.
still, I've been talking about this. You're on the verge.
I know.
think there's- it's timing and opportunity. And it's like,
It
you've got to
is.
find the right fit for you. The right position's got to find you as well. But I'm really excited. Any advice you want to give to fellow job seekers based on your experience with that?
When you go for an interview, or when you're going to have an interview, make sure you research the company and the people that you're interviewing with. I think that's important because that's going to be a question they ask. What do you know about the company? And you want to be able to at least talk generally and maybe something a little more specific. Go to all the drop downs in their web page and look at every single thing. Jot a few different things down that you can talk about when they ask about it. That will set you apart.
Wonderful. Great advice.
That's it.
Thank you, Lisa. We'll keep our fingers crossed for you on continued
you.
success and hopefully that pans out for you. All right, we're going to move along to Karen. Karen, I think you had a career achievement, if I wasn't mistaken. Karen, can you unmute yourself and tell us what's going on?
Sure, I'm pretty excited. So, when we go through job seeking, it's very difficult and you do get kind of feeling like you're on your own island. I had a company reach out to me and I was submitted for a certification to become in a women's group, basically, to become a CIO certification person. And it's basically 15 weeks and then have mentors for a year. So it kind of lifted my spirits. And I guess one thing I want to say to the group is that the black hole is sometimes because they either have somebody identified. That's why LinkedIn is really important to get the job market jobs that are not posted. And it's the hidden job market. That's why it's so important to connect with one another. And if you keep that in mind, I guess it's more palatable, even though we put in the time, there may be too many people that have already applied or whatever. So that helps keep my spirits up too. But to have had somebody actually submit me and be accepted was just really exciting for me.
That's awesome, Karen. So hopefully you're thinking about merchandising this on your LinkedIn as well, whether it's a photo or an image or a certificate or in some way, and then tagging the organization and maybe even the person who nominated you. Have you started thinking about that yet?
I absolutely will once I get the certification. It's a 15-week course, so it takes quite a while. It doesn't start until the end of March, but it's something that I'll be able to use. And it's something where I'll be able to meet other professionals in IT, and I'll be able to work with a lot of CIOs for a year because it's different CIOs every month. So I think that I will absolutely be putting that in there.
Awesome. And one thing related to that too, Karen, and for the rest of you as well, I'm going to show you my profile. When you have a career achievement like that you want to, you post about it, but then you want to give some ongoing visibility, there's a section of your LinkedIn profile called featured. And if you don't have it yet, it's just not been enabled. You'd have to click under add profile section and then go under recommended and click on add featured. And when you do that, it'll take you to this section where you can now add items in. The first time you're there, when you click on the plus sign, you can see what can you feature. You can feature a post, so something you've posted on LinkedIn. You can feature a newsletter or an article if you've done any newsletters or blogs on LinkedIn. You can add a link to an external website, or you can upload media, so a picture of a certificate or something along that lines. Now, when you do post things on LinkedIn, I want to show you an example of this. I'm going to click on this one if I can. When you post items on LinkedIn, you can also add those to your featured section immediately after you post it. And the way that you do that is after it's posted, published on LinkedIn, you want to click on the 3 dots at the top of your post, and yours at the top will say add to featured. Now this one I already have in, so that's why I'm saying remove from featured, but that's how you would add that into your profile. So a little bit of a LinkedIn pro tip for you on that. So congratulations for you, Karen. Very excited. We're going to move us along now. We have 4 questions and I'll go in this order: Scott, Randy, Marie, and Christopher. So Scott, I lost track. I think it might've been the best way to use LinkedIn for your job search. Is that your question? If you could unmute yourself and clarify. Scott, paging Scott. Can you unmute yourself? Scott may not be able to talk. All right. So the question that Scott is asking is, what's the best way to use LinkedIn in your job search? So I'm going to start, and I'm going to ask my all-stars to raise your hand if you would like to contribute. And all the all-stars should be raising their hand right now, because I know you all have a piece of advice. Let's just give Scott and the other job seekers one piece of advice about what's the best way to use LinkedIn for your job search. Here's going to be my advice for you. Spend 15 minutes on LinkedIn every single business day. You have to get active on the platform. Part of that is getting visibility for yourself, understanding how the network works, spending 15 minutes in the homepage feed, building up social media karma, interacting with people, being visible. That is very important. And I know there's many of you that have not been active on LinkedIn at all. And that scares the bejesus out of you. When I say interact on the homepage feed, you're like, you got to do it. You came to the call today, you learned some new things. So I'm going to challenge you to go onto LinkedIn today, go into the homepage feed, give a couple of likes to posts, and then maybe add a thoughtful comment of 8 or more words in there. All right, Mindy, what advice do you have for people on using LinkedIn for job search?
Thanks, Brenda. So in addition to what Brenda's saying, you don't have to feel, I guess, fearful about saying the wrong thing on LinkedIn. When you start small. Just start commenting on posts that are interesting to you. And that's how a lot of people begin. Just start commenting. I think the latest thing is you need to have at least 12 words, but comment something on LinkedIn. The other thing that is really critical, make sure that you have already put in all of your 50 skills. All right. I see a lot of profiles that have 6, 7, 8, 9 skills. If LinkedIn provides you with space for 50 skills, use them. They are going to be helpful for you in keyword searches. They're going to be helpful for you whenever you apply for a job. They're also helpful to get endorsements. Use the power that is in LinkedIn, and that includes those skills. Make sure all 50 are filled out. If you're not sure what to do about that, shoot me a DM. I'm happy to show you how to do that. It's easy.
Thank you, Mindy. All right, Joey, and then Jay, and then Sue, and then Kenneth.
I would say just be targeted and know what you want to do and where you want to be. And to Mindy's point, be a giver. Don't be a taker. Don't be groveling. Don't be telling everybody, I want work, I want work, I want work. Be a giver. Help people with what they're trying to accomplish. And I think you'll get more feedback and more helpful advice, if you will, and maybe make more connections that are more valuable to you.
Thank you, Joey. Jay, go ahead.
Be part of the conversation in your field. In addition to commenting, think about who are the excuse the term, the thought leaders, who are the people that you find very interesting in your former companies, and engage them, as we talked about in commenting. And that will make you not just show up in terms of your SEO, but to show that you're someone who thinks about what's new in the field. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Sue?
Well, mine's actually related to that. Use those 15 minutes, not just to comment, but as Jay was saying, this is where you put your expertise out there. But a lot of people I work with don't even want to comment at this point. So what can you do? You can share an article that you've read if you want to post, or you can repost with sharing is what they call it now, and put comments in that about why the article's important. And that's an easy way to dip your toe in the water to getting visibility by putting your technical expertise out there. Thanks.
Thank you, Sue. Kenneth, and then Abby.
What I would say is this: most people don't use LinkedIn from a job seeker perspective to market yourself. And I think that's a big mistake that people have. It's the old, if I'm looking for someone on LinkedIn, I don't care about your chronology. I care about what can you do for me now. So you want to sell yourself, sell. And then along those lines, the first 3 or 4 lines of your about section are so important. I was actually having a chat with someone today, and it was a resume. It was all resume-ish. And I've said this before, maybe they're not going to read your entire about section when you want to get their attention. And I think the biggest mistake people make, and I'm an introvert and everyone knows that, you're scared to death about posting. You're scared to death about being, found out for who you're not. Well, you have something as valuable as everyone else has to say. You're no better, you're no worse, and you need to get out of your introvert skin with that. So that's what I'd like to add.
Thank you, Kenneth. Abby.
Hi, everybody. So I would highly recommend that you download all of your LinkedIn contacts into a spreadsheet. And then I would recommend that you reach out to 5 people a day that you haven't talked to in the past year, that you haven't talked to in the past few months, and reach out to them and ask them to reconnect, and ask them to just have a phone conversation or a video chat with you just to see how they're doing. And if you do 5 a day for a couple of months, you're going to have reached out to practically everybody in your LinkedIn network, and one of them may actually help you get a job.
Thank you, Abby. Wonderful. All right. So hopefully that helps out. Lots of great advice. And by the way, if anyone else in the community on the call here today has additional advice for what's the best way to use LinkedIn for your job search, please go into chat and give your suggestions and some questions there. By the way, I want to give a quick plug for, I'm doing a program called Boot Camp with Brenda. Several of the participants are on the call here today. It's using LinkedIn for your job search. If you are an experience-rich job seeker, that means if you are the age of 50 or above. Boot Camp members, if you're enjoying the program, I'd love to see any of your comments inside chat. It is a structured program with a start and end date, and I will be offering it again later in 2023. I don't know the date just yet, but stay tuned on that for details if you want to work with me one-on-one and work within the group to learn more about using LinkedIn for the job search. Aside from that, certainly connecting with the all-stars that are on the call here today, we're going to give you some great advice and we're going to help you along the way. So make sure that you're connecting with us and following our posts. All right. Quick mention that at the end of the call today, I'm going to be giving away one copy of my book, Social Media Pie, How to Enjoy a Bigger Slice of LinkedIn. I was cleaning and reorganizing my home office last weekend, and I realized when I was going through my bookshelf, this one's got a couple of like folds and creases on the back of it, and it's no longer, sellable. I'm going to say I'm damaging it out, so to speak, but it's a good book. It's just got a little bit of like warping on the back side of it, a couple dings on here. So I put on here, oops, slightly warped back cover. So just so you know, but I'm going to be giving this away free today. At the end of the call, I'll be drawing a name. If you want a chance at winning the book, you've got to put the word book in all caps in chat right now. If you won a book for me before, do not put your name in there because I'm going to take your name out of the drawing. You only get one. But if you want a chance at a free autographed book, including shipping, go into chat and type in the word book. I'm going to ask Julia, my intern, to create a list of those names, and we will do the drawing at the very end of the call. You've got to stay on. If I call your name and you're not here, somebody else is going to get your book, and you're going to be really mad and kicking yourself. All right. We've got Randy, Marie, Christopher, Janine, and Al, all with questions. Randy, I've lost track of chat, so I cannot find your questions, sir, but can you Remember the question that you asked? Are you able to unmute yourself?
Of course, I can remember it. Yes. Last year, when I landed a job, prior to landing it, I had like 40 to 60 recruiters contact me on LinkedIn. I didn't even have to do much searching. Now this year, I barely have any messages from recruiters, less than a dozen. I've been looking for like 3 months or so. So and I think my profile is pretty good. I've had several coaches look at it, like a handful. I asked my girlfriend the other day, who's a recruiter, to go on LinkedIn Recruiter, type in the title I want, which is VP Business Development. And I come up on the first page as number 3, which is amazing. And sometimes number 9. But my question is, if I am so high up in LinkedIn recruiters, why aren't recruiters contacting me? I'm feeling like I did something wrong on the profile, and I've asked many coaches. And one coach said, maybe there aren't jobs right now that match your business development experience in that industry. And another person gave me an article about how the market is soft right now and companies are holding off. And I'm just racking my brain. I'd like to have your feedback. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice. I want to ask if there are any individuals with a recruiting background on the call who might be able to speak to that. Abby, I'm looking at you to start us off here. I'm going to give a once over on your profile as well. And I'm already seeing a couple things that could be causing maybe people not to reach out to you. I'll comment on that in just a second, Randy. Abby, I did drop the profile link for Randy in the chat. Do you have any thoughts on why Randy's not getting any outreach by recruiters?
So I would love to give you lots of information. I have a 11 o'clock interview.
Oh,
so I have to drop off, but I saw a couple of very fast things. So if you can get back to the titles.
Yep.
So you have VP a little bit lower, the titles. And no, not up there, but lower, a little bit lower.
Oh,
The
within the
experience?
experience section.
Experience level. Yeah. Experience.
in the experience section you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So the VP, I would write vice president for one thing.
I have to comment on that. I was on a call yesterday with yet another expert. She was great. And she told us, and you all should write this down, to go on this site called trends.google.com, trends.google.com, and you can type in the title and see how much it is searched by recruiters. And guess what? VP is searched.
Randy, I'm going to
more.
jump in because I know Abby's got to drop off.
Okay.
Abby, is there anything else you want to offer before you have to, and if you have to go ahead. I don't want to keep you.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, put the word vice president and then put in parentheses VP. So you have both on that line. That's what I was going to say.
Okay.
But I could say a lot
Abby.
more if I was here.
I know
But
you've got to go. All right. And if, Abby, if you have
Excellent.
anything after to offer to Randy, we'd appreciate it. I'm going to keep us moving along because we're at time here and I want to keep our questions and advice going here too. All right, Randy. So I'm going to be blunt with you. Can I be direct with you? Is that okay? Permission?
Sure. And many people look at this. Sure.
All right. So I land on your profile. So you are looking for an executive level position. So here's what I expect to see for somebody I want to hire for an executive for my company. I want to see a good headshot photograph and I want to see a banner that is indicative of quality. So your banner to me strikes me as it's like this pixelated, fuzzy looking image. And I know you've got the word sales on it and I can read it, but do you see how even on my screen, it's kind of fuzzy and pixelated on here a little bit?
I absolutely thought about that and I'll pick another one.
Okay. Pick
I don't even
something else.
think my face is clear either.
And your headshot photo, if I click on it to make it a little bit larger, I can see that it's a smaller headshot photo. I mean, honestly, it is worth the investment if you haven't had a new headshot photo taken within the past 5 years of getting a new headshot photo. When I think about organizations, they invest a lot of time and money into recruiting executives to join their team. They want to bring people in that are going to hit the ground running and that are of a certain image, kind of quality perception. When you get a new headshot photo, you're going to get, it's a professional who's doing this. They're going to have good lighting. They're going to do some minor retouching. They're going to have a clear background. All of these things are signaling quality and they're helping to frame you as an executive for the company. Now, here in Metro Detroit, I work with a guy called Scott Lawrence. He is my headshot photographer. When I go to him and get a new headshot photo, it's like a $300 to $400 package. He gives me a couple different images, and he also offers like a quick headshot, which is a little less. You could just as easily go to like a JC Penney or a Sea Loft Studio or something and get a cheaper headshot for $75. Or you could go to a passport company. Those are, not as good quality. It's worth the investment to me, I think, to get a good quality headshot photo because it sets up the right image for you on your profile. Now, is this a reason that a recruiter is contacting you or not contacting you? I don't know. I just know if you're coming up in search results and they're coming to your profile, image is one thing. The other thing is she looking for a job? So when I read through your about section, to me, I feel like you are looking for a job. I'm not going to ask you to answer this, but do you spell it out that says, okay, I'm looking for job opportunities? I see that there, but then I go to your experience section and it looks to me like you are working for this company, Ezra Coaching. And I'm going to make the leap in my head to think, oh, she's already working for herself. And she is generating accounts with 1 billion in revenue and 10,000. Okay, she's not looking for a job. She's self-employed. And maybe that's the wrong conclusion I've made, but that's what I'm picking up from here. If that is not the case, Randy, what I would do is while I would spell out in the first sentence in your experience, while I am looking for my next full-time job working for an organization as a VP of business development, I am taking on project work to self-source for new enterprise accounts. So explain what this is in relation to your job search. Does that make sense? And did you want to add anything to that, Randy?
I'm sorry. I appreciate anything you say, but no, that is a job I had. I'm not there anymore. And I've been told, again, I had my own coach that I hired. So I've spoken to 5 people. I've been told to leave it as full-time because if I say I left there, I'll have less recruiters. I even had a recruiter telling me that, contacting me. So that's not consulting work. It's what I did. I didn't put the green, whatever you call it, around my picture.
I would not do the green open to work. I don't like it myself.
Right. But I did check off in LinkedIn that I'm open to work. So people know that.
I mean,
to find me.
You're here saying, why aren't recruiters contacting? I'm just going to give you like, here's some other ways of improving, your LinkedIn profile and changing visibility. I mean, you're going to get a million different opinions, Randy. I mean, this is what I do for a living and I work with people all the time on their LinkedIn profiles. And there is a philosophy that says you have to have a current position or you won't come up in as many searches on LinkedIn. But when people get there, you want to make it clear that you're looking for a job. So if this is not your current role, first thing I would do is I would put this in the past tense. Maybe don't put an end date if you don't want to take it off on there. But while in this role, I self-source for new enterprise accounts. And maybe at the bottom of this paragraph, you add another sentence that says, I am currently looking for my next full-time job as a VP of business development in the Connecticut area or whatever that is. So spelling that out. If you want to keep that on, you can do that. The other thing you can do is put an end date on here, and then you can add in an employer that says open to new opportunities and put your job title as VP of business development. And then you spell out in the paragraph what you offer to a company and clearly articulate that you're seeking your next full-time position as a VP of business development.
Thank you. I've never seen anyone write in a job they had that they're looking. I've never seen that ever. So
you're asking for some different approaches and opinions. I'm giving you some different approaches and opinions there. All right. Do any of the All-Stars want to offer any additional advice to Randy before we move on? All right. All right, Randy, I hope that you found that helpful. I hope you pick up some new nuggets. I know you got some differing opinions in here.
Sorry.
Things to consider.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's all good. All right, Marie, you have a question for us. Marie, what's your question? Is Marie still here or did she drop off? Marie, she may have left us. Going once?
I'm here.
Twice?
I'm here.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Marie, what's going on?
So I thought the convention used to be to keep your LinkedIn profile different from your resume, so you had like different marketing tools. And recently I came upon a job application and all they would take was the LinkedIn profile. So I'm just not sure what to do about that.
So you're saying you are finding jobs that are saying apply using your LinkedIn profile and they're not giving you the option to upload your resume?
Correct.
Okay. So I want to see if any of the other all-stars want to help with this. And I know a couple of them have dropped off. Joey, you're raising your hand. Do you have something to add to this, Joey?
Yeah, you know what, the LinkedIn is a great vehicle to elaborate on your resume and speak like you can't write on a resume. Like for me, resumes are prim and proper, and there's a certain set of rules and protocol that you have to abide by. Otherwise, people are like, this person's unprofessional. Whereas in LinkedIn, you can show a little bit of humanity and a little bit of, I don't know, I can't think of a better word than humanity that you can't show on a resume. And so anybody who's reading a LinkedIn profile would definitely see a difference between a resume and your profile. Here you have some freedom. Here you have an opportunity to show a little bit about yourself and who you are beyond the resume. So you know what, do what you can to make it more personable, stand out, be different from everyone else. And you can do that on a LinkedIn profile.
Thank you.
All right. Any of the other all-stars? Kenneth Lang, I'm not sure if you're on here. Jay, if you're still on. But the question was some of the jobs that she's applying for, they're only giving her the option to apply for LinkedIn. Shouldn't LinkedIn be different than the resume? Kenneth, go ahead.
What I would say is this, that may be true, you have to apply with LinkedIn, but if you know where the company is and you know where the person is, you might reach out to them on LinkedIn, find the person there, and maybe send a resume that way or build a relationship there. I mean, I think job seekers are kind of taught to go through the steps that the company wants them to go to.
Right.
You want to apply online, you have to do this, you have to do that. Well, you make your own rules as a job seeker. Don't be caught in that mindset. Just because you have to do it that way. I mean, they do it from a housekeeping standpoint. They do it because they want to keep track of all the resumes, but that doesn't stop you and shouldn't stop you from trying to do something else.
I was not able to message with the HR person, but I did figure out the email address and I sent her a cover letter and resume that way. So connect with the person on LinkedIn. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn and say, I applied for job ABCD through LinkedIn, whatever. I'd like to also send you my resume as a connection request. Okay.
And Marie, if you're the only one who's done that, you stood out. Right.
Okay.
Right. So go, pat yourself on the back and plug along.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Good luck to you, Marie. All right. Christopher, Janine, and Al. Christopher, you had a question. I apologize. I don't know where the question's at in chat, but can you unmute yourself? You're still on the call.
Sure. Well, for about 4 months, I was getting a boatload of interview requests, like 3 or 4 a week. And in the past 2 months, I've gotten nothing. So my question is kind of similar to what Randy said. How do I drive people back to my LinkedIn profile?
Okay. Oh, I need to get the right spelling of your name. Is this you up on screen here, Christopher?
Yes.
Okay. So can you remind us what is your targeted job title and your targeted geographic area?
Business analyst in the New York City area.
Okay. So you were getting a lot of inquiries and you're not getting anything now. Is that correct?
Yeah, they completely dropped off.
Okay. Are you active on LinkedIn? Are you posting? Are you engaging with other people, commenting, things like that? Okay. The job market has changed. I mean, there's things that are happening definitely across industries, things like that. I'm just going to quickly look at your activity on LinkedIn. Let's click on posts on here. And by the way, I see Christopher has the open to work enabled. Perfectly fine to do so. It's also perfectly fine if you don't want to do the open to work. I'm referring to the green badge that's on his photo on there. So let's see, just going to give you some feedback on your recent posts. I see Christopher has done a post recently that he is announcing what he's looking for. By the way, I love to see posts like this. I'm going to grab a link right now. We're going to do a little bit of a group help for Christopher to give him some added visibility. By the way, this helps all of you with your job search as well when you are participating and active on LinkedIn. Because people that are seeing this post, a portion of people seeing this post are going to be hiring managers and recruiters. And by the way, they're going to be looking at some of the comments. So by helping Christopher, you are also helping yourself. So please participate in this post. And what I like to do when I see a post like this is I just go in and I might add a brief comment, and I might say something like adding a comment to help spread the word. I have several connections in the NYC area. You know, hopefully one of them may know of business analyst roles. So I'm just going to add a quick comment inside there. Christopher, one thing that you need to do as homework is every time someone comments on your post, you need to reply to them and do the reply with 5 or more words. And it can be a simple, thank you, Graham. Hope you are doing well. But you need to reply to everyone who comments on your post every single time. Part of the reason we do this is this increases visibility for ourselves. It also builds up social media karma. But when I say increases visibility, what happens on LinkedIn is every time someone interacts with your post, and that someone can be you or it can be other people, and the interaction can be a like, it can be a comment, it can be reply. Anytime those things happen, the post goes out into the homepage feed again. So that reaches more and more people, especially for posts like these that talk about the role that you're looking for. So that's one thing I'm going to help you with is helping to jumpstart some of the engagement on the post. You need to do your homework, which is replying back to those people when they are coming back. I'm going to give you another assignment. Is that okay, Christopher?
Sure, I love homework.
Okay, good. So here's your homework. As a business analyst, I'm sure you could probably make a list of 10 different topics that you can talk about as it relates to being a business analyst, the role that you serve in an organization, the value you bring, the technology that you use. I'm looking through some of your hashtags, what change management is and why it's important as an organization to embrace it. You could probably think of a variety of different topics. Once a week, I want you to talk about one of those topics. And, and this is kind of illustrating your knowledge, your passion, the experience that you have. And it kind of is almost like if you're in a job interview and someone says, give me an example of a time that you've helped with change management, and you answer that question, and you use these posts as a way of bringing visibility to yourself, bringing visibility to your profile. I love that you are using hashtags, Christopher. I want to encourage you to continue to use hashtags, especially hashtags that are related to the topic of the post on there. I see Kenneth has raised his hand, so I'm going to see if Kenneth has anything to add to this.
I just had one question for you, Christopher. Did you switch to creator mode, and has that affected the type of engagement? Because just wondering if that's part of the reason why you might not be getting the same engagement, just a curiosity.
No, I've been in creator mode long before the 4 months of interview blitz started.
All right, I was just curious. That's it.
Can I make a comment if you don't mind?
Please go ahead.
Okay, could you move the profile up a little bit more? I don't know, this caught my eye and it's probably nothing. And what the heck do I know? But under highlights, you have sexual and emotional intimacy skills. I don't know, Brenda, could that bother anyone? I don't know.
I mean,
this made me think.
Yeah, this is it's a professional networking platform without any context that could strike someone as off-putting.
I saw the class and he interacted with it, and I can't get rid of it.
So if you go back to the event, Christopher, I don't even know if I can click on it. Let me see if I can go to the event. Let me see if I can find it real quick in search. If you have indicated that you're planning to attend, you have to visit the event page again, and then you have to remove the RSVP from it. So I'm just going to click on it right now to show you. So when I go to this event page, and I'm going to put this in comments just as an example here. Let's see. Okay, so Christopher, you'll have to click on this. And when you go to the page, you probably have clicked it on attend. So what you're going to want to do is go to the page again and click on leave event if you want to take that off of your profile. Right. Okay. So yeah, that's a good observation. I mean, sometimes we are not even aware that things show on our profile and things can be, perhaps off-putting. There's all kinds of different businesses that are out there, and there's even individuals who specialize in, these as topics. This is part of what their business is. I know a woman here in Metro Detroit. She owns a bra shop, and it's I can't think of the name of it, but she has a presence on LinkedIn, and she has a business, and this is a legitimate business, and it's undergarments for women is what it is, right? It is what it is. But some people may never interact with her posts because they don't want to be associated with something that could be sexualized in nature or whatever. It could be off-putting to some people to interact with her, so they may not interact with her. So I think there could be something that's to be said in there. And the fact that when we RSVP for events, you may not know that they show up on your profile in your highlight section. I don't think that's as big of a concern. It might be something that people notice when they scan down in there. But if you're ever concerned, should I or shouldn't I have this show on my profile? I would say don't, because if you're worried it might turn some people off or push people away from your profile, it might be something to take off of there. I want to see if there's any other all-stars that have advice for Christopher on his job search on his profile. If not, Christopher, was this helpful for you?
Yes, it definitely was.
All right, good. Well, we're glad to have you on, and thank you so much for asking the question. All right, we've got 2 more questions, and then we're going to do the book drawing. We have Janine and Al. So Janine, what was your question? Are you able to unmute yourself?
Yeah. Is there a way to save or archive posts?
Yes, excellent question. So this is actually a really quick thing to do. Are you talking about your own posts or other people's posts?
Other people's posts that I find really helpful and beneficial. And I've been, copying them and pasting them to a Word document.
Yeah.
But I just wondered if there's a way to archive them or save them in some way.
Yes. So let's say I want to find Megan's post later. I'm going to click on the 3 dots, and then there's a save option. So at the top of the post, you're going to click on the 3 dots.
Okay.
And then there's a save option. Now, the next question is, well, where are they saved? Where do I find them? If you go to your LinkedIn homepage, I'm just going to go click on the in symbol or home. That will always take me back to the homepage. In the left menu bar, you're going to see underneath your name, your headline, all of that stuff. There's a little ribbon that says my items. It doesn't say saved items. So it's a little bit like, why would I look there? I tell people all the time, Janine, I have a job because LinkedIn is confusing. Literally what I do is I help people get a bigger slice of the LinkedIn pie by understanding how to do all of these things, because LinkedIn is so flipping confusing. So you click on my items. In the left panel, you're going to see saved posts. So that's where you would save it, and that's where you can find it later.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Right.
This is why I come to LinkedIn school with you.
There you go. It's LinkedIn school. All right, Al, you have our last question, and then we are going to do our book drawing. Al, I cannot find your question. I'm sorry, inside chat.
Okay.
What was the question you had for us?
Yeah, just a quick question on your opinion on paying for LinkedIn Premium.
Excellent question. I get this question asked all the time. And first of all, I want to remind everyone that I do not work for LinkedIn. I am an independent marketing consultant. I do not make any money off of LinkedIn. Having said that, I also do not like to see people wasting money on LinkedIn services. Now, I do personally use LinkedIn Premium, and I've also have a paid subscription to Sales Navigator at this time. So I see the value in myself in having a paid subscription to LinkedIn, but I don't think the average person needs to have a paid subscription to LinkedIn. I don't know why this is not loading with all of the names. This is crazy. Let me try this again. Look at that. It's like the wheel of names is not building for me today for some odd reason. And there are no actually anything else in here. Okay,
well,
so
maybe because you're trying to do 6 different things at once.
It could be, but I usually do 10 different things at once, and it cooperates. I don't know why it's not doing this. So premium, what I want you to think about is the word premium. LinkedIn Premium was invented by a marketer. Now I can say that because I'm a marketer, and I'm very comfortable sharing this with you. LinkedIn is a business, and LinkedIn's got to make money. And when they use terms like premium, it makes you feel like you're getting a better version of LinkedIn, right? I want you to think about changing the word premium with paid. LinkedIn paid versus LinkedIn free. Wouldn't you rather use LinkedIn free because you're getting, a lot of value out of it without having to pay for LinkedIn, right? So when we think about it that way, premium means you get some additional services that you get added to your profile that you don't get if you are a basic LinkedIn member. I usually tell people that it doesn't make sense to upload to premium unless you are, it's still not working, I don't know why, unless you have an optimized profile. It's been written for your ideal target audience. It's up to date, it's current. Unless you are regularly participating in the homepage feed, engaging with other people, as well as posting at least once a week and responding to those posts. And the final thing that you need to be doing is you need to be practicing good invitation strategy. And what I mean by that is you need to be personalizing invitations every single time that you send them out on LinkedIn. And you also need to be screening in invitations from people that we don't know. If you're doing all of those things and you want to try premium, go ahead and try premium, but do keep in mind that you are using a paid version of LinkedIn, and the Job Seeker Premium, I think, is $29.99 a month. The Business Premium is $59.99. Sales Navigator is $79.99 a month. Often when I'm working with people on LinkedIn and they have premium, they forgot that they were paying for it. So it's one of those things where you set it up, you put your credit card on file, and you don't even look at your subscriptions. And a year goes by and you've paid LinkedIn oodles of money and you're not getting any value out of it. So the average person, and for the average job seeker, you do not need to pay for LinkedIn Premium. It's still not working. I don't know why. But if you do upgrade, you get the ability to see who's looked at your profile. You do get the ability to get access to LinkedIn Learning, but you can also get LinkedIn Learning for free from your library. So you don't need to necessarily pay for that. And there's some additional things that you get access to as well, but don't use premium because it sounds like it's a better version. Just keeping in mind that you get a couple of additional features with that version versus the free version. Did I answer your question, Al?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. The wheel did not work, so we're going to try our best with this. I tried texting and pasting as non-formatted text. Nothing's working. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to spin the wheel. If it pulls up a blank, I'm just going to redraw again for it. But if you must be present to win, if you are not present, I'll move on to the next name. And here we go. So let me click on the wheel. I'm going to hold my hands up just like in Vegas so you can see I'm not cheating. I'm not putting my elbows on the space bar to stop it or anything like that. Nobody wins. This is going to be a long, fun wheel of names. Look at this. Remove all instances. Will that work? Yes, it worked. Okay, so now I'm going to try it one more time. There, now this is working. One name. So it must have been a big blank field in there in the code somewhere. So here we go. Must be present to win. Is Don still on the call? Don, are you on the call? Don
Yes, yes,
Don?
I'm here.
All right, congratulations, Don. I'm going to put your name on the front of the book right now, Don Xavier. And Don, if you would please email me at brenda@mellermarketing.com. I put your name at the top of here. And provide me with your mailing address. I will get that in the mail to you this weekend. Congratulations. You've won a copy of Social Media Pie. By the way, if you're bummed that I didn't draw your name, hey, you can still buy a copy of the book. I'm going to put the link inside chat right now. It's called Social Media Pie, How to Enjoy a Bigger Slice of LinkedIn. It's available on my website if you want an autographed copy, or you can buy it on Amazon. And I also have it on ebook and audiobook and all the other good stuff out there. All right, my friends, it's 11:24. I need to wrap us up for the day. I want to thank the All-Stars for helping us out with the call today, to Kenneth, Sue, Mindy, Joey, and Jay. I think I got it right. Kenneth, Sue, Mindy, Joey, and Jay. I wrote down your names. I want to thank all of you for making this a part of your Friday. Remind you that if you come across others who are in career transition on LinkedIn, just tag me in on the comments and say @Brenda Meller may have some resources to help you. And that's kind of like your wink to me, and I'll wink back, and I will put the link for them to come on to the Friday call. If you found this of value, you can help to be the change that you wish to see in the world, and you can help to bring other job seekers into this community so they know that they are not alone as well. With that said, I'll leave the chat open for just a moment or two so you can download